सर आपका माइक ऑफ है। सर प्लीज ऑन माइक। एक मिनट।
सर टेल मी। माइक का माइक तो इधर यार मूट नहीं है, मूट है। हम्म? किया, म्यूट किया। So now okay? Am I audible now? Okay. Good morning, participants. Good afternoon. Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, audible.
यस सर।
Yeah, okay, great. I'm waiting for Mr. Patak. So thank you for this participation. So before Mr. Patak comes and introduces me, the session today is preventive, detective, corrective, control, risk management in banking. And these controls could be certain controls I will be speaking at a later time. They will be more specifically applying to the banking industry. But some of the fraud scenarios that I will be discussing in this session, they generally apply to even manufacturing or services sector, other sectors too. But more predominantly, they'll be working applicable to the banking sector. So today's topic is preventive and detective and corrective controls in a core banking environment in a banking industry. So for understanding the risk management, one of the best documents available is the risk management principles and guidelines, ISO 31000. I don't go elaborately on ISO 31000 document. It's a 20-30 page precise document prepared by International Standards Organization or Organization for Standards. So this 31,000 document, I request all the participants to go through and 3-4 times. It's a small document. You give a repeated reference to that document, and whatever the concepts that were mentioned, they are not too many, but those concepts will help you throughout your residual life. And these documents were prepared globally with the global intelligence and all for a large number of months of efforts, and they will be All these documents will be vetted multiple times, and the final outcome will be, it will be safely, it will be applicable for several decades. So these basic principles, precisely if we understand and if we use them in our work life, we can add value to our organizations and understand a risk better, and we can minimize the risk and maximize the profits to our organization. So I request your good selves to go through the risk management principles and guidelines ISO 31000 document. And because we are information security specialists, and our ISACA is the body that takes care of the information systems risk more specifically. Here also we are having a small history of ISACA itself. Actually, our parent body is the Institute of Internal Auditors, but we have grown much bigger than the parent IIA. So in the Institute of Internal Auditors, a part of the technology-driven people need to have a something in the IIA, that is the Institute of Internal Auditors, as EDP auditors. EDP auditors or something. That EDP auditors club of IIA later on hived off from IIA, and they started this ISACA, Information Systems and Audit Controls Association. So the EDP auditors, those who are specializing in Institute of Internal Auditors, a global US-based organization, the EDP officers, they hived off from that organization and they started this ISACA. But the ISACA now, globally, because information technology is became the main propeller for any business endeavor. So the ISACA has grown to leaps and bounds, and the membership is already more than 1 lakh plus certified information system auditors, and still we are growing. And ISACA is not only into the internal information system audit, they have COVID control objectives in information and related, and IT GRC and cyber security and CMMI, capability maturity model CMI, that was also absorbed by ISACA. So not only into the information technology audit, the ISACA has grown to cyber security. ISACA has grown to various other segments, and now they are giving a lot of certifications. Governance, CISA, CISM, CRISC, lot of certifications. The body is giving special certifications. As we are information technology specialists, one document is most important to us, that is the information technology security techniques, IS risk management, ISO IEC 27005. This is a wonderful document. All information system auditors or security specialists should go through the document. This is also a 60-page document. You Google it. Otherwise, if you want later on, we can share also in our forum. But there will be some forums like you will be knowing some groups. I will tell later on. Those groups, the documents will be available. Like what is that group? I have forgotten. Telegram. In Telegram, we'll be having CISSP group and other groups and all. There, because ISACA and all, we have to follow strictly the intellectual property rights and all. But for training and development, it could be diluted to some extent. But Telegram groups, these documents will be very predominantly available. So information systems risk management ISO IEC 27005 is also a wonderful document. Then I'll be discussing about the fraud triad or fraud theory. And the ACFE, Association of Certified Fraud Examiners findings, 2022 findings And the global cases, Enron or Barings Bank or Sachem or Broadway Street recently and Nero and all, whatever the things happened in the banking industry elsewhere, because this is a little risk management control. And I concentrate a little on fraud risk, because fraud risk is should be contained so that organizations will survive for long years. Because these organizations, Enron and all the scams, they could not take a corrective action at the right time and all. The thresholds for, there was a breach of the risk thresholds. That's why the organizations could not sustain. Only the Broadway Street, that one of the public sector, big public sector bank, Delhi-based public sector bank, was hit with a 10,000 crore fraud. The bank is so big, the capital and reserves are 1 lakh crore plus and all, so strong bank, they could sustain beside the 10 crore. And you will be knowing that the Nirav Modi scandals, it's a Nirav, he is the culprit, and the bank has the Broadway Street branch. The Treasury Department has opened several LOUs, letter of undertakings, without the adequate limits available by Mr. Nirav. 10,000 crore is the exposure to the bank. That's a live case, 3-year-old case. So these cases I'll be discussing for 15-20 minutes. So you will be understanding where the risk was not contained, that has resulted in the failure of the entire organization. So the risk should be within the risk appetite of the organization, and a robust risk management framework should be there. The risk management framework should be visualized and should be charged by the board of directors and the risk committees at the top management of the bank. So the regulator in banking sector, the Reserve Bank of India, gives all the direction to the MD of the bank and the directors of the bank. Those at the highest level, they will be held responsible for the oversight function on the risk management frameworks. And in the CBS, core banking system environment, I'll be discussing about some preventive controls, detective controls, and corrective controls. Preventive controls and detective controls, I'll be discussing with you in a information system, in a banking environment. Your SAP software you will be using in a manufacturing company, pharma company, Ahmedabad is known, well-known. Manufacturing company, Ahmedabad is well-known. So there, the controls that you have to use, there you have to understand based on your environment. I'll be more telling, because some of the majority of the members are chartered accountants too, and they're doing the bank audits and all. I will be giving a more flavor to the banking industry. From that, you should understand for your manufacturing industry, what are the controls. You can, to the extent possible, I will try to be generic, but my 3-decade experience in the banking, I am always telling that, but I do have Adani and Intas, all these audit heads are my close friends in Ahmedabad. I had a little acquaintance with them, so I can do a little manufacturing sector orientation also about the controls. Corrective controls are most important. And if I forget toward the end of the slides and all, I am taking time and telling you corrective, your backups are most important corrective controls. Something happened, a disaster happened, something happened, some corruption happened in your computer environment. With the backup, you will restore the systems to the last day or last backup available, last 1 year or last 1 hour or last 1 day backups, and then you have to, you have to start your transactions. And the backups and all, how their maintenance and all depends on the RTO of the organization. depend upon the cost implications and your business case, how critical it is. So in banking industry, you will be having the near sight. Near sight is a concept recently came 5-6 years back. Otherwise, earlier there used to be a DCDR. In a DCDR to be, they should be distant apart because they should not contain the same environmental risks. Suppose our bank data center is there in Gandhinagar, the DR should not be in Gandhinagar. The DR should be in Hyderabad. The DR should be in sufficiently distant place so that something happens, flood comes or tsunami comes, something comes, the DR location should not be impacted. So the DR location, one of the best standards followed for the DR location is, it should not be in the same seismic zone. It should not contain the same environmental risks that the primary site is containing. Like one of the premier bank of the country, they are having their data center in Bombay. Their DR site is in Chennai. So one of the IS auditor like you or like Mr. Nitin, they commented in the information system audit report of the bank that the banks DC and DR are exposed to the same environmental controls, environmental exposures. Why? Bombay is on a seashore and Chennai is also on a seashore. Then that bank is one of the biggest banks in the tagline of the bank is banker to every Indian. So immediately they have relocated their data center, though it costed 100 crores or more to them, to Hyderabad. So the DR facility should be sufficiently distant apart. They should not contain the risks that the environmental risks, seismic risks and all. Suppose Bombay is in a seismic zone. Your DR should be in a non-seismic zone. Again, Hyderabad is a non-seismic zone. We are Ahmedabad, we are in a seismic zone because we had the Bhuj incident long back, and we had because Ahmedabad incident long back, Ahmedabad itself was impacted by a seismic event. So we should have primary centers there. Our secondary center should be there in the non-seismic zone so that the secondary session center will be intact. Again, I am telling you the backups. So banking industry to have DCDR. Then somebody suggested the DCDR shipment of the data to DC to DR. It takes 10 minutes or so. So 10 minutes or 15 minutes data gap is always there. The buckets it will have, then the shipment will come. It will go in a flow. So the gap is 10 minutes. Then again, regulator or somebody told 10 minutes is too long. So all the banks have started a near site also. The near site again, it should be around 25 kilometers so that the data loss is minimal. So most of the banks, very big banks or medium-sized banks also, they had a near site also. The near site will be 25 kilometers or 30 kilometers again from the main data center, so that the replication, there will not be any replication loss. So data backups will flow from the data center to the near site. From the near site, it will flow to the DR site, or as based on the architecture, directly from DC to DR and also to near site. So data loss is minimal. Then internal control in an operational environmental controlling office or something, administrative controls are one of the best controls. So whatever the office we are having, biometric authentication is there in our Nitin Pathak's office. So we have to have a attendance register and all. We have to have some set following guidelines we have to follow. We should not use mobile in our office and all. All this comes under administrative controls. In some administrative controls are also one of the best controls, where technological control is can't alone can't take care of the risk. We should have in administrative control also. And administrative control, technical control will almost work 24/7. administrative controls. There should be a oversight function on the administrative control, whether the administrative control is working or not, whether the administrative control is effective or not. For that, your internal audit and surprise visits and inspection and all the things should work. All those control functions will work. They ensure that the administrative controls are working as intended. So override of control, sometimes you have to override the controls. But the override should not happen. The override should happen exceptions, no? Like TOD. Like you are all chartered accountants, most of you. You will be seeing TOD in bank. So your current account is there. Current account is there. One LCT check came. So 1 lakh rupee check. The bank manager is having the discretion. So the clerk will pass. The system won't allow. Then the supervisor will authorize to override the, he will give a direction to the system. Though there is no balance, you give access into the accountant and you pass the check. That is overriding of the controls. Sometimes overriding is required. Like I told, 1 lakh check came, your LCT bill. Banks won't fail to pass the check, because if the check is not passed, your power supply will be stopped and your production will be stopped. So the manager has to take a call. He will ask the clerk who is doing it to override. But the override should be for genuine purposes. It should not be intended to for mal purposes. So again, where a override is there, the override is for genuine functions. There should be checks and balances on the override functions, especially those charged with power. Their override and all, it should be with a framework. The override should be there. And again, risks happened globally, both in India and also the override of the control. Override of the controls happened at the management for bad intents. Whatever such a scam happened. So the override of the controls. Done by a few people. Even the internal auditor company PwC doesn't know. PwC is a great company. Big Four. The auditors were also surprised. It came to surprised. They were surprised and they were penalized. They were arrested. Along with the proprietor, the audit partner was arrested and put behind bars into the Chanchalguda prison in Hyderabad. The partner of the PwC. Because the audit firm has not done the audit properly or something. Some controls overridden by the management was not known to the auditor himself. That's why I'm a manager and a lot of branches I handled and all, exceptionally large branches. When anybody come, an auditor, first he took an undertaking from me. No fraud has happened and all. For a statutory audit, you are coming for 6 days to me to audit all the transactions and you are attesting my balance sheet. Is it possible for you to check each and every control existed in the organization? No. You will do based on the management assertions, and you will take undertakings from me, stating that no fraud has happened during the audit period. Everything, those kind of undertakings you will take. Now, after the Enron and will be devolving and will be telling at a later date, after the Enron incident and all, where management has overridden the control, Sarbanes-Oxley Act came into enforce in the USA, maybe 2007. You give me 20% aberration to my whatever statements given years here and there. Sarbanes-Oxley, they are a member of parliaments of the US Senate. Enron is a big company, several 5 billion, more than 5 billion investors' money was lost. So US got shook. Other Anderson is one of the greatest companies in the world. Audit firm is the auditors to Enron. Other Anderson, that company also got evaporated after the Enron incident. Other Anderson is no more, and the US implemented the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. And in the Sarbanes-Oxley Act 404, 404, what they call SOX 404, made mandatory for the CEO, CFO of the organization to accept that the controls are effective, controls are in place, and the controls are working as implemented. So as an internal auditor, as a statutory auditor, you will be based on the management assertions. So SOX 404 is there in US. Similarly, we are having the exchange regulations. We are having a large number of listing company regulations and all, BSE, NSE, listing company, and our whatever the Indian regulator is having. Companies Act is having its own things, and listing companies are having its own rules and regulations. Internal controls are there, and for the internal controls, the management is responsible for the internal controls. But responsibility for the auditors are to have a random verification of the controls, and if they got any doubt, they have to go into more deeply into the controls, and they should auditors should look into the fraud situations, whether fraud can happen or something, whether sufficient controls are there for fraud risk mitigation, that the scope of the auditors, that are the auditors are responsible, but the management is taking sufficient measures that the frauds were identified quickly and they were remediated quickly. So the scope of the internal audit or external audit, you have to have a vigilant eye, and you should be open your eyes and ears open, and you should have some kind of a basic smell of fraud risk, and you should be in a position to understand that the controls are effectively working. Okay, and that's why you are of late you are seeing that if internal controls are not there, many audit firms are exiting from the assignment. If you are aware and if you are having sufficient doubt that if you are having sufficient doubt that the internal controls in the organizations are not adequately placed by the management, then you can exit the assignment. And the recent thing happened, like on the US long back happened after the Enron. One of the thing is PCAOB or something, oversight organization on the CPS. One oversight body came, and India also 2-3 years back we are having a ICAI is our Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. There is a oversight body on the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and that oversight body is having the authority and responsibility ensure that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is working properly. That's why that oversight body recently has penalized some auditors, statutory auditors of NBFCs and banks and all, for not diligently doing their responsibilities. They were penalized and they were debarred from continuing their audit work for some 2 years or 3 years, like that. The oversight body, earlier our Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is having the penalties on the chartered accountants. Now this oversight body is having the penalties on the chartered accountants, erring chartered accountants and all. So override of controls and few cases and work of internal auditors and concurrent auditors and oversight mechanism and some key takeaways. So dear friends, I am telling about the fraud theory. It is called CAA triad. Somebody can note down. This PPT will be shared by Mr. Nitin Pathak, and I will also share. So fraud Donald Cressy, he spent a lot of years in the US prison, and he came out with a triad, fraud triad. That fraud triad, I am telling you, dear colleague, friends, that works mostly. Fraud triad works mostly. In every fraud case, some trigger of the fraud triad might have been breached. Cressy's fraud triad or fraud triangle is having 3 legs. That is the perceived non-shareable financial need. Please understand the words. These words given by Cressy verbatim, copied by me. It is his 4 decades of research with hardcore criminals in US prisons. He interrogated prisoners for 4 decades, then came out with his fraud theories. Perceived financial need that is non-shareable, like gambling. I am having a habit to gambling, drinking, or something, or high-end spending. These kind of needs are non-shareable needs. I am having a financial need. I want to construct a house. That is a shareable need. And that is a asset creation need. These needs are non-shareable. You don't share with your family members also, or if your colleagues are also gambling. Will you share? We have not become such a country where somebody will politely share that I am doing gambling. It's happened recently. It's happened. I am a witness 3 years back in Ahmedabad, in Saparkanda district, in Banaskanta district. Some of the people, junior officers, they're having this trading and all. Junior officers, they have misutilized the office accounts. They were suspended. They were caught. I'm telling you, no fraud will ever be under carpet for years. No. At the max 18 months, at the max 24 months, every fraud case will come out. It won't be there. So, people, new officers, small branches, oversight is not there, away from their controlling units and all. And their seniors are seasoned people or something who are not computer savvy. Young boy is computer savvy. 24 hours on WhatsApp, Facebook, all the medium and all. The manager depends on these people. Non-computer savvy managers, they have given their passwords. In SFMS is a system that is used for transmission of the bank guarantees and all. Like RTGS is a system for financial transactions, transfers across the globe. SFMS is for bank guarantee transfers within the country. The chief manager is not savvy. He has shared his password with a junior officer who is still undergoing the probation. The junior officer, not understanding the repercussions, has sent some 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crores. Happened in Rajapalayam, down south Tamil Nadu. How many years back? 10 years back, when Gidugu is an AGM there, 2007, I am an AGM at International Business Branch, Chennai, Rajapalayam. After 10 years, 2017 or 2020, Broadway Street, 10,000 crore, same thing. He is not having a limit. The bank officer has sent the outward RTGS or SWIFT messages to other countries. So the fraud triangle laid out by Mr. Cressy, fraud will happen when 3 things will synchronize. One is financial need and perceived opportunity. The need should couple with opportunity. You should have an opportunity. You should have the key. If I am having the key to my strong room, then I can steal the money. ચાવી જોઈએ, ચાવી જોઈએ ને, ચાવી નથી એટલે કેવી રીતે આવે પૈસા? પૈસા ના આવે. ફાઇનાન્શિયલ નીડ જોઈએ, પૈસા માટે પ્રેમ, or pressing need. Some people will borrow. पहले बोलता था काबुली वाला करके. They will come on the salary day and they to stand in the offices, they to give a 10 rupee, 20 rupee rate of interest. And they will take all the salary from the office itself. काबुली वाला लोन करके बोलता था साउथ इंडिया में. Financial need, perceived opportunity you should have. You should be an officer. You should have power to do. You should have the key. You should be a cashier. That's why क्या बोलता है? Audit गया तो पहले cash verify कर लेता है. First statutory physical cash verification. Cash is the asset that can be stolen easily. Gold is the asset that can be stolen easily. Gold loan सभी check कर लेता है statutory. पीस पे पीस वेट कर चेक लेता है, टोटल पीस है कि नहीं है, सब चेक कर लेते हैं. गोल्ड, मनी, दिस कैन बी इजीली स्टोलन. सो फॉर दिस फ्रॉड टू हैपन, फाइनेंशियल नीड इज रिक्वायर्ड. अपॉर्चुनिटीज should be there for that person to commit a mistake, and rationalization should be there. This rationalization is psychological part, most important. Dear friends, you know opportunity. गिड़गू को पैसा चाहिए, 1 लाख रुपया चाहिए मुझे, अभी चाहिए मुझे, और चाबी दे दिया पतक साहब, मैं चाबी खोल के पैसा ले लेता हूं. और थर्ड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट इज द साइकोलॉजिकल पार्ट इज रैशनलाइजेशन. पतक साहब चाबी दिया तो भी हम कभी भी पैसा नहीं चोरी करते हैं, बिकॉज we are having the faith. He is having faith on us. We are trust. So we don't want to get a bad name. We are trustworthy. That's why we'll never, wherever chartered accountants are there, bankers are there, they never touch the cash. Whatever incidents we are discussing are 1 out of 1 lakh. 1 out of 1 lakh. 99,999, no banker will touch 1 rupee. He will not see it as a rupee. It's just a kagaz. I know cashier, पट्टावाला, मैनेजर, ऑफिसर सब इतना कैश हैंडल करता, सब चोरी करता, कोई भी चोरी नहीं करता. 1 लाख में 1 दफा करता है. ये रैशनलाइजेशन क्या चीज है? Rationalization means the person who is doing the fraud, he will think that he is not doing a wrong thing. He will feel that he was not given proper salary. He was underprivileged. He was most utilized. The manager is giving him no salary hike. The bank has given him the deserved promotion. Not me. Psychologically, the person who commits, he never committed to Cressy that they did a mistake. They said to Cressy, if in my situation you are there, you will also do. This organization has not given me any promotion for the last 15 years. I am working up to 10 o'clock, no salary hike. I deserve it. Rightfully, I deserve it. They are not giving, that's why I am taking. So understand opportunity, financial need, and rationalization. Certain people, those who do the fraud, they think that they deserve it. Their community was suffered for long years. Now that I got an opportunity, I will give loans to everybody, or I will take myself, or we were abused, or no promotion to me for the last 10 years. Either as a group they will do, the government or the society has done wrong thing to us. Now if I do something, no issue. Or individualized they will do. I deserve the promotion. They have not given. My junior was promoted. What shall I do? Okay, I will take some bribe was given. I will take this bribe or something. He offered me or something, some kind of a thing. He offered me. That's why I'm taking. Small thing only. Earlier also it has done. Others also have done. All these kind of things will come under rationalization. Others do. Others too doing. All politicians are doing. Everywhere it is there. Anti-Corruption Bureau itself is taking money. Everything. All these things will come under rationalization. So if the three things synchronize, the fraud will happen most probably. Trust violation should work. Usually frauds will happen with the trust. Those with people with trustworthy who were charged with that responsibility only will be violators of the trust given to them. Bank has given a manager. He's a trustworthy person. Foreign exchange in charge. He's a trustworthy person. Most person. Whatever Shetty is there, he's most trustworthy. Shetty, who is working in Broadway Street branch, most trustworthy. But where also controls failed. Periodical transfers. Shetty was transferred 3 years. Somebody wept. The branch had wept. So the GMHRM retained his transfer. Shetty is an expert in foreign exchange. He should not be transferred. He should be kept. That's why in Broadway Street branch happened, the GMHRM was taken by CBI for interrogation first. Had the periodical transfers have taken place, that bank should not have crippled with this 10,000 crore loss. Periodical transfers, market checker controls, all those controls should work effectively. So, once again, I am repeating that fraud triad is the 3 legs. That is financial need, perceived opportunity, and rationalization. If the 3 things happen, there is having highest probability for a fraud to occur. And Dr. Steve, is maybe Chris's student. He also done a research for long years, and he has depicted the highly ranked personal characteristics of fraudsters. I am not telling you not to rationalize it or across the board, but mostly 80% to 90%, a fraudster will have this, or whatever the fraudsters have. After the interrogation of the fraudsters, 80% of the 90% of the fraudsters, they find these characteristics in these fraudsters and be watchful to these characteristics. Kirti Acharya is there from Ahmedabad, long back, 4 decades back, 5 decades back, one Mr. Kirti Acharya shook State Bank of India. One of the biggest reconciliation frauds happened in the premier bank of the nation 5 decades back in Ahmedabad, spearheaded by Mr. Kirti Acharya. Kirti Acharya used to come to office LHO Ahmedabad in a high value car than the LHO chief general manager. Yara parliamentary committee was done by that government about the State Bank of India fraud and all. Lot of deliberations have happened in the Indian Parliament and all. Those things will be available in the website of Parliament. Yara Sajayan has made certain remarks on the Premier Bank and reconciliation and all. He is a member of Parliament. Yara Sajayan is a parliamentary committee on the fraud of the Premier Bank happened in Ahmedabad 5 decades back. So Kirti Acharya also used to live beyond his means. And Kirti Acharya will never used to go on leave for a single day. You observe. These fraudsters will never go, because if somebody comes, that's why the controls came, global best practices were implemented by the regulator. Now, those charged with the responsibility should go for a mandatory holiday, mandatory leave. But mandatory leave में गया, उसका यूजर आईडी है, पासवर्ड है, घर से बैंक चलाता है, वो अच्छा नहीं है. He should be excommunicated. the bank should run without him. So the characteristics for these fraudsters are living beyond the means, overwhelming desire for personal gains. Okay, reasonable gains are requested. We are all working. I am 60 plus, I am working. Nitin Pathak ji works from 9 to 9, 12 hours for 6 days, hard working. We want financial gains, but overwhelming desire should not be there. We should get everything ethically. Honestly, we should get. And high personal debt. These people will have gambling and other habits. They do have high personal debt. And close association with customers. Close association with customers. All these 5 characteristics, dear friends, understand. All these characteristics will be reflected in a fraudster. If he is a manager also, if he is a chief general manager also, arm's distance I need to maintain with my customers. If somebody is so close, there is something wrong with him. Especially, again, I am talking about Ahmedabad. Some housing loan scams and all happened in Ahmedabad 2 decades back. All these branch heads, these fraudsters identified and caught hold of the branch heads, they had to sit beyond 8 o'clock. Why a branch head should sit beyond 8 o'clock? Actually, a branch head should never sit solo. All of the fraud triggers. 2 decades back, retail loan scam happened. Some brokers or some real estate people could take some branch managers into their clutches and get these housing loans without proper assets, get the loan sanctioned and all. They met the manager solo, beyond the office hours and all. So these are all fraud triggers. So the characteristics of a fraudster: living beyond the means, overwhelming desire for personal gains, high personal debt, close association with customers, and feeling pay was not commensurate. That's why I told you, my pay is very less. I am working for 12 hours. They are giving me 80,000 rupees salary. HDFC Bank, my friend who joined HDFC got 60 lakhs salary, whereas in public sector, my salary is 1.5 lakhs, 18 lakhs. And HDFC had getting 180 crores annual bonus, whereas in the public sector, 18 lakhs. State Bank of India chairman salary is 18 lakhs. HDFC Bank chairman, 180 crores. Or I am wrong, 100 crores. And Kotak Mahindra chairman, 200 crores. Long back, Kotak Mahindra Bank is one of the banks 10 years back. There are more than 100 employees who got a salary of more than 1 crore. 10 years back, friends, Kotak Mahindra attracted the best in the industry with the highest salaries. So a public sector bank peer, he will think that my salary is too low and all. These symptoms will happen in manufacturing industries also. Pharma also it may happen. Other manufacturing company also it happen. I am telling not only public sector. I worked closely in Surat with one of the biggest manufacturing company, Imsen Textiles. I know what happens there. To get a check, to get your own money, you have to spend some money. I am very closely associated with them. I am one of the single point of contact to them. I am telling, they are honest, but still you have to, they do private sector will take gifts and all. Otherwise, they will check 1 crore check is there. If the CFO give you the check after 2 days, how much money you will lose? So to be happy and to be getting even private sector also, they have to take compliments and all. So everywhere it is there. So living beyond the means, overwhelming desire for personal gains, high personal debt, close association with customers, feeling pay was not commensurate is the characteristic they find with the fraudsters. And the organizational environment. Dear friends, you see the organizational environment. Placing too much trust in key employees. That's wrong. They should have a reasonable check and balances on each and every employees, and lack of proper procedure for authorization of transactions. Checks and controls, whatever Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is there, the checks and controls came 4,000 years back by the accounting people only. As accounting people, you are the experts in the world for checks and balances. Reconciliation is the control, and maker should be there, checker should be there, transaction should be there, limit authorization should be set by somebody else, proper segregation of duties are there. All these things, whatever you learned in your CEA, and whatever RASI RJ, RASI template given by ISACA for IS auditors. IS auditors, I am telling you, you have to learn a few things from the accounting principles. Otherwise, you can't become a good IS auditor unless you know the accounting principles. Whatever accounting is happening, either in the manufacturing system or in the financial system, whatever happening accounting, balance sheet, physically, that is happening now electronically. If you are not having the basic knowledge of the accounting principles, you can't become a best IS auditor. My IS audit observations, one of the observations I will be sharing with you will be astonishing. With 20 minutes, I could understand, because I'm a best practitioner of accounting principles. I worked as a credit head, I worked as a branch head. I know how a transaction will start from end, how a loan will be from start to end. That's why you need to spell the things. If somebody is doing technically any wrong, I need to detect it. So my humble submission before you is accounting standards. You understand what are the controls laid down by the ICAI or CPA or global ACCA, whatever the global bodies. You understand them. What are the checks? Those checks only we have introduced them in technically, and our ISACA has given RASI for libraries maintenance, software maintenance, and all RASI template in the ISACA body that we should understand. So organization environment, placing too much trust in key employees, lack of proper procedure for authorization of transactions, inadequate disclosures. Organization itself is a cunning organization. Then what? The culture of the organization. The employee boss himself will come to the office at 11 o'clock. Employee will also come at 11 o'clock. So I am head of information system audit of a public sector bank. I asked my general manager, internal audit head, Mr. Mahajan, sir, I am doing IIM Calcutta course. Saturday, I want 2 hours permission. Second Saturday, fourth Saturday are holidays. First Saturday and third Saturday, I want 2 hours. Instead of 10 o'clock, I will come to office at 11 o'clock. He told, here, you are head of the department. If you yourself are coming 1 hour late, whatever be the reason, others will also come or something. He told, no, you better take leave. So I'm telling culture of the organization. If inadequate disclosures are there, that the organization culture will promote fraud risk. No separation of authorization of transactions, lack of independent checks and performance, independent checks. The persons who are checking the transaction should be independent of the transaction or authorization and all. Those who are checking periodically your go down registers and all, they should be from the inspection department. They should be not involved in the transaction or in the process. They should be some other persons. They should not have any direct relationship with the process. The process owner should never check. The process owner should check as the internal control and all, but there should be random check by outside people also. Then Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, the report to the nation, whatever the 2022 report that SFE will give this wonderful document on every year by studying around 1,000 fraud cases globally. They will find out the statistics. The statistics are available at the website of Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. And if you can download the report to the nation 2022 also, and you will understand They have done 2,110 real cases, 133 countries, 23 major industries. Wonderful document. Wonderful document is typical fraud case lasts for 12 months before detection. Median loss is $117,000. 42% of cases detected by tips. Dear friends, 42% of cases were detected by tips. Organizations with hotlines detected frauds more quickly than those without a hotline. Hotline means you inform. Some independent person is there. Any whichever thing is happening, just inform. Now Income Tax Department is also telling. Your Central Excise is telling CBDT, CBEC. You inform. And if you inform something and if we get that 100 crores or something, will give you 10% commit. It will give you gift also. That is hotline. Only 66% of the perpetrators are having a fraud history earlier. So, dear friends, who are doing statutory audits, attesting the balance sheets of organizations, be careful. So, 66% are first timers. So, catching a first timer is very difficult. And not 66%, only 6%. 90% are first timers. So they are telling 6% of perpetrators had a prior fraud conviction. But with the prior fraud conviction, be careful. Because it's happened in Parsi-Sheri in Surat. One guy, a special assistant, did a small fraud in Salabatpura and he's a clerical cadre only. He came to Parsi-Sheri. And that guy used to sit late evening and doing the things. The chief manager, Mr. A.K. Mali, no more now. He is so happy because the Surat in the 1980s, the culture in Surat in banks is, public sector banks is up to 3 o'clock only working, 11 to 3. 3 वागे घरे निकली जवानो, बंदू काम पति जे, 3 वागे घरे, clerical cadre, 3 वागे घरे निकली जवानो, officer 9 वागे सुधी वैसवानो. I could never leave before 9. So that person again came and did a fraud. You be careful. Be careful. Some people may be transformed and all. Here also, I am telling back in Hyderabad, all real stories, dear friends, 4 decades of experience. One person was removed. Some 6-7 housing loans, collusion with builder and all. The houses were not came and all. Definitely, his intent is wrong. Intent was wrong. Not by mistake or something. It's like an intentional mistake. He also belongs to, I can't say anything. So he was never given a branch manager. Whatever community or sect he belongs, they had to go every Sunday meet, churches and all, they had to go and all, like you are having a Friday prayer, he's having a church. So they are all used to assemble in the church and all. So HR head came from the same kind of a set of those who will have the Sunday meetings. So he has given him branch head of Rajahmundry branch. So that bank incurred 100 crores NP. So be careful whenever you are intentional auditor or statutory auditor, some person is having a prior fraud story, unless that was fraud was happened or that was by unintentionally, we are having a bad mindset. We should have smell wherever wrong is there. Not to hurt them, be watchful about those people. They have done major big frauds after their giving again lenient approach by the management. Doesn't mean that if somebody was punished erroneously, he should not be given long this one, but be careful and watchful. 85% of fraudsters displayed at least one behavior-led flag of fraud. Means living beyond means having that, whatever flags we have told, no? 80%, 5% shown these red flags. And half of the cases occurred due to lack of internal controls. Override of the control 25%. Corruption was the most common scheme in every global region. Every region, Western countries also, no more. Everybody, Lakshmi Devi, money makes every day. You in the UK, you know, one Indian gold. She ran snake. She has reached to the Prime Minister, UK Prime Minister. You know, she is that story came 2 decades, 3 decades. That lady shook. She is a dream girl to every minister in UK. She is having all the private defense, all that of the nation. So that is beyond money. Even in military defenses, even White House and all those things were also not protected so greatly. Global cases, Enron, I have discussed many a times. Cynthia Cooper, she's a great lady, AVP internal auditor of Arthur Andersen. She spelled something wrong, and the CFO of Enron declined her power. He declined her papers and all. She did a great job for weeks without having a paper, without having a power. Underground mission, small team of people, and she had wanted, this Cynthia Cooper wanted to meet the audit committee of the board, ACP chair. She wanted a meeting with the ACP chair. The ACP chair is a lady. She wanted to meet Cynthia Cooper. She told the ACP chair that something, our company is not rosy as declared. Enron is a NYSE dream, gold, Q on Q growth, Wall Street art company. When Cynthia Cooper made all her efforts, though they say that it is audit committee's failure, it is internal audit failure, but there are people. That's why I'm canvassing her name here. Then the CEO of the company came to a public meet, like the Ramalingaraju of Sachem Ramalingaraju himself declared that something wrong is going on in my company. That's what in 2004 or 2007, whatever is the year in US, the Enron CEO came out and he declared whatever profits I have shown is balance sheet fraud. Balance sheet fraud is the highest fraud. It will be committed by the top management. It will be committed by the CEO, CFO, board of the company. And it is very difficult to unearth the balance sheet fraud. Back home in India, Sachem also it's a balance sheet fraud. Okay, then Sarbanes-Oxley Act, COSO ERM framework, Institute of Internal Auditors and all, they worked under the, what is the commission? Broadway committee or something, COSO ERM framework, SOX Act, all the things came globally and in India also after a decade. Barings Bank failure, I am telling trader Nick Leeson or something, rogue trader. Barings Bank is 180-year-old bank. Most strongest bank in the UK. It is to be called the Queen's Bank with the highest net worth and all. This Nick Leeson is a trader. He's a back office boy. Globally, the segregation of duties were so great that the back office guy will never allowed to do a front office role. But this boy is a so good boy and all. So management was so happy when they started their Tokyo office. They have sent him as the Tokyo in charge. Yeah, this boy worked in back office, you know, the reconciliation in and out of Barings. So the threshold is there. If you are having stop loss, that is the risk control, stop loss. Foreign exchange overnight overnight, what is the overnight you can return? You should not do. You should book loss. I'm a banker in there, I can't do. I have to buy and sell. I have to buy and sell whatever the loss I have to. At the end of the day, my position should be zero. But this position is not zero. Because he lost huge money, the index is going in a different direction, whereas his thought process is in another direction. So he incurred $100 million loss. But because of his experience, he could circumvent the controls and he could fool the back office, and he has gone to day two. Day two also the market behaved in a way against to his whims and fancies or his process. Again, he has entered to day three. But day three, the market is behaving in a way, whereas this great trader, he can't able to predict, and his losses have gone to such a level beyond the risk appetite of the organization. Then the back office came to know something unusual is happening. And the Tokyo Stock Exchange, whatever they have traded, they lost immensely beyond the risk appetite of the organization and all. And the bank collapsed with one rogue trader for breaching the thresholds set by the organization. Such a balance sheet fraud, you know, SEBI guidelines, you know, corporate governance in India came after Sachem. Maybe Kumaramangalam, Birla Committee recommendations, I think. You have to check up Google and all. After Sachem only came. But he himself declared. The words still I remember. If anybody can remember and recollect, I'll be grateful to him. Mr. Ramanangaraju declared, I am riding a tiger. If I come out also, the tiger will kill me, eat me. So he himself declared that's a balance sheet fraud. Then they gave to. Here they used to create a post to, the modus operandi you have to go. A few things I will tell. I have created false contracts. The contracts are not existing. And how these contracts monies were given to ghost employees. Ghost employees in overseas, ghost employees, they created a huge remittances that they made, huge contracts, and they have shown bank FDRs. The bank FDR itself is not existing. It is photocopy. That's why statute writer should get confirmation from that bank whether the term deposit is existing or not. So a brief modus operandi is false contracts that never existed. Same similar to Enron. Enron always used to go on complex contracts. 10-year-old contract, 15-year-old contract, same modus operandi. False contracts. And these receipts he has deployed in employees. The employees themselves are not their ghosts. And the part of the money he deployed as bank, FDR, $100 million, New York branch of XYZ branch. Nothing. $100 million FDR is not there. So then Broadway Street, Nirav Modi incident, we know still nobody could catch him. Despite all these, despite all the things, everybody forgotten. Despite all the commitment by the government that will bring everybody back and all, they could not able to do anything. They could not able to bring one person back. Why I am telling? Even that Bhattacharya of State Bank of India also told the Indian legal system and all about that Gadiwala, who is that Kingfisher, she told, I have gone to DRT none less than 80 times. The Indian judiciary, Indian legal framework is like that. So he also could not brought to law. Nirav Modi could also not brought law to law. Only the government asked Punjab National Bank to bear the 10,000 crores in the balance sheet of the Delhi-based bank. They took the loss. Here also SWIFT was compromised. One rogue employee by name Shetty from the Broadway Street branch, he has given letter of undertakings, LOUs, in favor of Axis Bank in some countries, foreign countries, 2,000 crores. Even Axis Bank, if they open their eyes, if you Google Nirav Modi, he is having 600 crores from all commercial banks. 600 crores, CRISIL rating is for 500 crores. How Axis Bank overseas branch accepted a 2,000 crore LOU guarantee on his behalf? When if you search Google, that company name, if you their maximum exposure from banking industry is 500 crore, how that fool bank would accept a 2,000 crore bank guarantee? That's why at that point in time, Punjab National Bank chairman or MDC were told that we want to go to court of law, we will not make the payment. But the Union of India or Government of India, Reserve Bank of India told the bank to make the loss, and they have booked the loss. And the LOUs were removed from the banking industry, and we were back bank guarantee. Standby guarantees came into this one. Actually, in Japan and all countries, that bank guarantees won't be there. India also, LOUs were stopped by Reserve Bank of India, and now standby bank guarantees, the system was changed to three lines of defense. First line of defense is the operational management of the decision making process. Second line of defense is the risk management, and third line of defense is the internal audit and statutory audit. So we information system audit, we are at the third line of defense, and Gopalakrishna Committee document 15 years back has informed in the banking industry that information system auditor should have access to board notes and all. So after my retirement from Bank of Baroda, I have gone to a small bank as a CEO, and whether it is with the consent of my board of directors or not, I told my credit head and all other heads that whatever board things are, so they are not, though they are so secret and all. I told whatever the accreditation taken, everything taken, internal auditor should have access these things. I have implemented in a bank that actually it was mentioned by Gopalakrishna Committee long back, 15 years back. It's a 170-page document, though the document is not in vogue now. It was changed by a recent framework on IT governance by Reserve Bank of India, but the document gives you huge, that is the wisdom of all the institutions globally. Gopalakrishna sir has copied from Institute of Internal Auditors. He has copied from ISACA. He copied the project management, PMI, project management, POK, project management body of knowledge, all the things. And like the Indian Constitution, he had made a 200-page document. It's a good document. And that the document is a wonderful document, and it works wonderfully now. Even I am telling you, the most wonderful document I admire is the IT Act 2000. What is the IT Act? IT Act when promulgated in India? 2000. There was a checklist given. What are the IT controls? You Google and search. That checklist works even today. Whatever we are today, our basics were given by our founding fathers 25 years back. For a proof, if you want, you just Google IT Act 2000. Whatever the controls checklist they are given, whatever the IT controls envisaged in IT Act 2000, the IT Act itself was derived from a United Nations Act. Okay, that is in the 1990s and the late 95 and all. IT Act 2000 document itself is working. Your VODA is also 2000 document. Your Right to Information Act is 2004. Most wonderful documents in the nation were prepared during the 2000 and 2005, 2007 era. That the Indian Parliament is one of the best think tank in the. It's at that point in time, it's a collective. All the parties work together. They are having certain issues, but all parties together, they took all the aliens and all the parties were there. That's like the Indian 1950 Constitution Parliament. That's also had a huge. Your Duronto trains were invented there. Your Garib Trust were there. All the things. It's a think tank of all the parties together, except one or two opposition parties. They collectively prepared a lot of documents those times that enabled India into the present 5 trillion economy. Right to Information Act is one of the greatest documents that's giving the rights to the Indian citizens. You go to every document that the Right to Information Act is 2004. 2004. Every office you go, police station you go, station house officer, what is the station house officer number, what is the collector, what is the collector, what is the PA2 collector, what is this one? How this enabled Indian citizens were enabled in a Right to Information Act in 2004. But due to some security reasons and all, the Right to Information Act was contained or regulated because it should not be misutilized. Now the present government is regulating it and making it so the rights were coupled, not to the citizens should not. They are telling certain things we will not disclose and all. Again, the government is telling going away from the spirit, but due to some security reasons and all, now they are telling that we will not. They made some amendments to the act itself, and courts also can't say anything against the acts. If the amendment was made in the Indian Parliament, nobody can do anything. If the freedom of speech was declined by the Parliament, again, nobody can do anything. So I'm telling you, IT Act 2000, wonderful document. The list to IT Act 2000 is a great thing, and the right to the direct benefit transfer and all, micro accounts were there, no frill accounts were there. All these things happened in 2000, 2005 years. All the things, direct benefit transfer is a dream of one of the former prime ministers of India. That only evolved into the last milestone. Narega employee should get the money directly from the bank account. All the things happened those years. So I'm telling you a little deviation. 2000 year IT Act, you please read, and the checklists you read, and Gopala Krishna Committee recommendations you read, though that is modified with the IT Governance Act by Reserve Bank of India recently, the 3 lines of defense are operational management, risk management, internal audit, and the risk appetite is the appetite that the organization will sustain beyond that risk appetite, every organization. So Adani there in Ahmedabad. So 1 crore is their risk appetite, or 100 crores is their risk appetite. Whereas Intas, small medical company, their risk appetite is 1 crore. What is risk appetite? If the bank or organization surveys, then it is my own. It's my own definition of a risk appetite. If you survey beyond the risk, that's your risk appetite. Like Cosmos, I should not name the bank. Pune-based bank was came with a cyber incident 6, 7, 8 years back. The bank survived because the bank lost 100 crores, and the net worth of the bank is more than 100 crores. And Delhi-based Broadway Street branch, 10,000 crores is the loss. That bank so strongly revived next year. They did wonderful. I very closely know that bank. Wonderful coming back of the 10,000 crores loss. They came back. Really, they have shown that they came back. 10,000 crores is the net worth. Well, the net worth is maybe 60,000 crores, 70,000 crores. That is the second, third largest public sector bank. So they came beyond the 10,000 crores. And some banks in Bombay, housing finance company, and that Bandra, whatever the loan, STIL or something, that bank has given that to real estate loans. That bank, I forgotten the name, the bank was closed. That means the risk is beyond the risk appetite of the organization. So internal audit should always worry whether the risk is within the risk appetite and all. The management should worry, and the internal audit should, and risk management should appraise the management properly. And we came to the computerized environment. The computerized environment is so flexible system, many parameters, interest rates run into 3 or 4 digits. In Finacle system, in core banking, earlier 999. Now I don't know, 9999 also. Because they say the CBSE is used in 4,000% is the inflation in some of the African countries. There also the interest rates are so double digit, triple digits interest rates were there in some of the countries. So these controls were there in the system. It is allowed to have a 3-digit interest rate. The 3-digit interest rate is too much flexibility in the system. Like your car is having a capacity to go in the 4th gear, 5th gear at 250 kilometers per hour. If you are going on NH1, the Baroda-Ahmedabad expressway, okay. That expressway is also having something min max and all. We should not. Even we know our greatest Tata Group CEO, we lost him in our Gujarat only. And nobody, for our poor maintenance of the roads, we lost one of the greatest CEO of the nation. Okay, so there also, I am telling you this 3-digit, this gives you, the 3-digit will give you huge flexibility. And any wrong happens, huge financial loss to the organization. And there are huge parameters, interest on interest, interest on principal, earlier public sector, or there is a Veeramati software is there. The company is from Ahmedabad only. I have forgotten the name of the company there to supply core banking, even then to some of the cooperative banks. Their software is too very flexible, very simple to use. Even DBA, I am a DBA. I can do everything. I can do the transactions solo. I can close the systems and all. It may be required. I have done. One chief minister of a state, his wife, December 15th, their challan I have booked on midnight at 12:30 or 1 o'clock with Veeramati software. Veeramati Ahmedabad software. Solo it allows. 1 o'clock they came, December 15th, last day. Government challan. If the chief minister's wife, Chimanbhai Patel's madam, if she says we have to open, but the software having that one flexibility, so one person could do it and we could do the day. And in that software and all, the interest will apply. That parameters are very limited. That's a simple software. I am telling what I am telling you. It's compounding only. There's no simple interest in that software. But in Finacle, lot of parameters, thousands of parameters. So many parameters means so much flexibility. Like your mobile is having 150. Like in fact, I filed 2-3 times. I have done how to mute, unmute, what is there, how to display my PPT. Though it is 6 parameters, I could not do 2 parameters. If it is having 100 parameters, you imagine. Because simple interest is required. Simple interest is required for an educational loan during moratorium period. Simple interest is required for sugarcane industry under one scheme of government of Maharashtra, Sharad Pawar lobby, sugar lobby. Simple interest. Government of India approved. Public sector banks have to give sugar mills. One simple interest. It should not compound it there. Their simple interest is required. Education loan, I am telling you, simple interest is required. IFCI, Development Financial Institution, the company's bank with headquarters in Baroda, or the bank where I worked for long years, IFCI, we have given a loan. That is Government of India. Directed the bank to give a loan at 6% to IFCI to Bank of Baroda at simple interest. Even Reliance, we had some I don't know. Government of India directed 6%. IFCA. So only these three cases it is. In none of the cases it is monthly compounding. So the interest on interest flag is a flexible flag. So I identified Brigade. I should not. It is a very big construction company, global construction company. What is the term loan? 250 crore term loan. And I need to data warehouse, we need to scan all the loans across the organization with interest and interest flag, no. So false positive will come. All the educational loan scheme false positive. They are no only during moratorium period. All sugarcane industry false positive. They are simple interest only. IFCI loan among all 10,000 or 1 lakh commercial loans, I am having one loan. So this guy, for this 250 crore term loan, interest on interest, he made the flag here. And my IT guys doesn't know what is simple, what is compound. They were BTech from premier institutions, joined the bank as IT officers, they are system auditors, CSA qualified, CSSP qualified and all. They don't know. But Gidgu, Gujarati che, ye krupya vyaj, we will not know. We are working for interest. Compounding is our blood. Like he told, na, Swaraj is my birthright. Compounding is my blood. Bankers' blood right, unless I was prohibited. So could identify the account and immediately notify them, and immediately we could find that flag, how much is the last 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs, and that customer, without hurting him or something, they explained him and all the monies, it was required. So huge customization is there in Pinnacle core banking solution. Manual involvement is sometimes in interest and charges application, that again gives problems. Field level anomalies may result in interest failures. Interest failure is something great, means that particular segment, the system at all will not apply interest at all. Again, the batch will fail. Again, like some batches, medical medicines also, that even shampoo. I asked somebody in a small bank, we are having all manufacturers, 8 ml this shampoo is 1 rupee. I told this 60 ml is 30 rupees. Long back, I asked one manufacturer, he is a shampoo manufacturer, sir, your 8 ml is 1 rupee. There are 60 ml, by that it should be 10 rupees. How it is 30 rupees? He told that 8 ml 1 rupee sachet you are getting is the batch failures, the quality control failures, that will give in your sachets 8 ml for 1 rupee. That is the quality control failure, batch failure. Whereas your 60 ml, whatever bottles are, they are properly quality assurance and all. That's why purchase only the bottle, not the sachet. He himself told, I don't know. A lot of manufacturing companies or friends, we have funded them and all, we told. Like that, I am telling, sometimes the entire batch will fail. One product code system we want to apply, but data center, they will identify it and they will try to apply the interest rates and all. Value dating of transactions. Foreign exchange में, nostro account में, आपको कल होता है, आज देता हूं मैं आपको. But I am very genuine. I will give you value date yesterday. If you are having a CC account or something, interest will not happen yesterday also. Value dating is required. But value dating is given by the bank persons intendedly for wrong things. So we need to detect from an offsite surveillance those kind of system flaws, or those who override those system flaws by individuals. And I will explain you how those environment will be controlled through preventive controls, detective controls, and corrective controls. So 6:30. So I will use my 2 hours fully. Thank you for your patient listening. I want to leave by 8 o'clock, but it won't happen. It will be 8:30, 2 hours. Because ISACA 2 hours CPG, 2 hours out. Preventive controls, detective controls, and corrective controls. Control mechanism are there. Preventive controls are controls that is the risk may mitigate. That will not allow the risk to happen at all. It prevents it. So detective controls, they will detect. Sahib, हमना 15 minutes.
Or you can continue, or you can choose to have another lecture also. It's
No.
so long, and
10 minutes, I will come to because 2 hour session. So
no, you can continue. But let
Yeah,
me give a break. Let me give a break. You can just drink a water. And now I'm allowing anybody to raise a question on this. So now I'm allowing anybody can unmute themselves. Okay. With rename, unmute themselves. Okay. Now anybody can unmute themselves, and anybody wants to raise a question can raise a question and ask a question. Sir, मेरा question ये है, as you are working in a bank for so long, and now you join some private bank at some distance place from Hyderabad. Now, if there are so many banks which are coming in the way, and bank is one of the example, but what are the major reason Indians are very back, as you see the foreign countries, there are a lot of funds coming from the management. There are a lot of strict laws. There are strict implementation. Why India is not so powerful?
I could not get it, sir.
Are you getting my voice? Are you getting my voice?
No, yeah. Tell me, sir, again.
Okay. So my question is, why Indian management is not giving the fund as foreign firms are giving?
Why Indian banks are not giving?
Giving the enough fund to manage this whole issue. Because everything is fund requires money. Whether it is preventive, whether it is detective, whether it is corrective. Am I right?
Yeah.
So Indians are lagging, very, very lagging in supporting the funds.
No, sir, I could not understand.
Okay, let me try this way. Let me try this way because I think you're not getting my voice. That is the question. I think. Are you getting my voice clearly now?
Yeah.
Yeah. मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि मैनेजमेंट फंड क्यों नहीं देता है, पैसा क्यों नहीं देता है, रिसोर्सेज क्यों नहीं देता है, मैन पावर क्यों नहीं देता है?
No.
Management...
Actually, the regulations in India are very well placed. Okay. And whatever we started our journey in the 40s, 50s, 60s with very scarce, created to be a scarce commodity and all, still that psychological barrier is there. But now there is excess credit. Now the excess credit, now the lending is happening for consumption. Now the lending is happening without any creation of assets and all. Now, in fact, the regulators are all fearing for too many personal loans available to the public that may hamper the system. In fact, too many loans available without any creation of an asset or something that may create a problem and all. Now that there's no credit fees or anything. But one thing is happening, manufacturing is not happening. I don't know what's happening. no, not many greenfield projects are coming. Not many greenfield projects are coming. And so the money into the corporate credit is getting reduced, and money to personal consumption and this middle class money, housing loans, car loans, others, educational loans. In fact, if you see the figures for last 3 decades, the personal retail loans used to constitute 5%, and 80% is corporate, agriculture, MSME, and corporate credit. Now, the retail credit, these private sector banks started retail credit in a big way. Be it HDFC, be it Axis, be it Kotak and all. 50% of their credit at book is retail credit because they have given to the tech savvy people, those with high salaries and all. So, initially, the government banks stick to the corporate sector, the green field projects and all, where the gestation period is wrong, and where even national highways, all these highways were funded by banks, mostly subsidiary banks. All these highways, the toll plaza money is one of the income for the bank loan repayment. All are by all these highways were funded by bank funding only, but for special purpose vehicles. But not many infrastructure projects are coming, but credit is expanding exponentially. But now that regulator is asking to be a little cautious in extending personal credit. If I can.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. Okay. So anyone has a question, because his talk is going so smoothly. I've interfered. Anyone can raise the hand, and you can unmute and ask the question. Okay. Sir, you can continue. Before that, let me have some talk on my thing. This Friday, 6:30 p.m., we did a talk on time management by Colonel Gautam. Okay, and he's going to have a sequel on the subject. We are going to have a talk on GST. GST is the biggest issue for CAs as well as businessmen also. And it is one of the most important thing in life to pay GST. And not only pay GST, but you need to take that you file a return properly. Not only file a return properly, you compile the data in such a way that you can answer within 5 to 7 years of this thing. So this is about GST and income tax. I'm going to talk on important decision on income tax, recent important judgment, including one of the raid in which the writ petition is filed in High Court, and writ petition is lively debated. As the case was like this, some of the one Mr. Maulik Sheikh's advocate is raided, and what are the private there are detailed guidelines how the department is following, what are the documents they can collect from the office of the lawyer, because lawyer contains a lot of the third party documents, and what are the rights of the department, what are the departments which are going to take, how department is going to handle which is third party document which is lying at the advocate's place, like CS place, like bank also. They have referred the judgment of bank also there. So this is one thing. And I am also running a chapter ISACA Ahmedabad. So those who want to join ISACA chapter, take different classes. They're really nice to take it. Mr. Gudgu has taken a number of lectures on this thing. His experience is so vast. And I'm also sharing one of the book called Message from God by Pradeep Mukherjee. This is a wonderful thought pattern which is introduced by Pradeep Mukherjee, by which you can live life very easily and effortlessly. That is also available on blog. So there are so many things which we need to share from this ISACA platform. I really thank Mr. Gudgo, who has allotted a lot of time, a lot of value. He has gone to RBI and he has to come early. He is 60 plus. how much energy which he has it, which I wanted from all 60 plus people, because they are really going to be the contributory. As Japan and China is aging, and their population is not only aging, but they are far behind. If we Indians, we retire too early, then it would be harmful to our country. Not only just retire, enjoy the work. The way today 60+% talking about this new phenomena of preventive control, active control, when he must have passed BCom, there may not be any computer at that time. There was no advent of computer. There may be some this thing, and still he's talking about this. It's a height and salute to Mr. Goodgo. With this, I again hand over the mic to you. Please finish it as within 5-7 minutes, and then we honor you. Anyone wants to talk something? Ask a question? Hello? Okay, with this, I hand over the mic to you. If somebody asks a question, we will revert back. Over to Mr. Goodgo. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. And your feedback will improve, and we can, whatever you suggest, we can do it in our next sessions. So feedback is very much important, and interaction is also very much important. Now I will take in 10 minutes the controls, whatever there. Mostly in manufacturing also you are having SAP and all. There also you can, this one range-wise controls, minimum, maximum. I told you earlier, 3-digit interest is there. You can scheme code, you can put a maximum of 10 so that it won't get beyond 10. So that prevents the risk. And product-wise, term deposit allowed for 10 years. So it will prevent you from giving a term deposit beyond 10 years. And compulsory interest applications, in the application itself it is there. Okay, that is the preventive control. Okay, and recently some banks have introduced certain things. If something is beyond the limit, there the transaction should be authorized by the regional office or something. Or after the Broadway Street, Reserve Bank of India suddenly came to know, and they suggested that the huge SWIFT amounts are going outside. 200 million, 2,000 rupees, 2,000 crores, one LOU. Immediately, Reserve Bank of India told Maker Checker, SWIFT is having 6 eyes. 6 eyes. Maker and somebody please unmute yourself. SWIFT is having 6 eyes. 1 Maker and 2 checkers. Still it is 2,000 crore guarantee passed through one go. Then Reserve Bank told, no, there should be some other control. So every bank, like $1 million, it will not go, the amount will not go through the SWIFT. Somebody other than your office, it will go to your treasury office, and somebody has to give some authorization, then only it will go. In fact, this kind of a control, I have suggested long back. I have suggested long back in my bank, long back. Common sense for controls, common sense is required. 1 lakh crores can be transferred in one go. How 1 lakh crore will be there? I suggested there should be a cap. No transaction should be beyond 100 crores. At that time they laughed, but when Reserve Bank of India imposed it, especially for SWIFT, now vendors as well, bankers implemented that control. So these are preventive controls. Those preventive controls will prevent a transaction to happen, and this can be easily, the similar things can be implemented in your manufacturing environment also. And the detective controls are your internal audit detective control. Your reports. Okay, list of deposits account, list of accounts, list of advance accounts with the limits expired, list of stock statements that have not done. These are all detective controls. You go through the list. Various reports. Availability of various reports from data warehouse, generation and pushing of the reports to branches, value date transaction done, interest value report, advance accounts where interest on principal is flag is no. Advance accounts where interest on interest demand flag is no. These kind of certain things I have given you detective controls in banking scenario. Such kind of a detective controls, or you can do in your manufacturing. I never worked in SAP. SAP may be a very robust ERP. SAP may be having in manufacturing also lot of controls. Means invoices booked on those who are not registered vendors. Okay, invoices beyond 10 lakh rupees. Invoices that breached the limits and all. Manufacturing industry, you will be having lot of those kind of detective controls. The detective controls, you should have your own passion to understand. I told you there'll be false positive and there'll be true positive. Your wisdom will bring you close to the true positive. Like I told you, interest on interest is simple. In some 2 cases, it is good. In some 98% cases, it is wrong. So false positives, you have to keep it, and true positive, you should quickly, you should identify that position. Override of controls, I told, manager will override. A term deposit is required. Value dating is required. Value dating is required for a trade finance transactions for one day. So one day, yesterday funds came to your London account of Nostro account, and today you are giving to your customer. So yesterday itself you have to give Nostro account value dating. But giving 4 days back value date is wrong. So value dating is very, very funny. Be careful and cautious. So value dating is flexible, but it should, it may calculate a wrong interest was applied wrongly by the staff, whether intendedly or wrong, unintendedly. Here 2-3 minutes I will tell you 3 cases. It's you will be eye opener. These kind of things can be there in manufacturing also. 4 minutes. It's a ghost SP account he is opened. Ramalingaraju, Satyam's cousin, came to my office. Ghost SP account he is opened, and the account opened was closed within 30 days. A housing loan account he has opened. He debited housing loan for 50 lakhs and he created the SP account credit of 50 lakhs. It's a balance sheet fraud. Dear friends, understand. One manager, through help of an officer, he opened one SP account. SP account of Tejal Joshi. Housing loan of Tejal Joshi. Tejal Joshi has not given any of his documents. The account should open at back office. The account was opened in the office. His signature is not there. And KYC was not there. Just the account was opened in the savings bank account, was the dummy account was opened with Tejal Joshi. And dummy savings housing loan was opened with Tejal Joshi. 50 lakhs. He disbursed, debited 50 lakhs in the housing loan and credited into the SP account. Account opened and closed in 30 days. I have seen SP account is closed, housing account was closed. No interest was applied on the housing loan. For every housing loan, valuer will take valuation charges. Advocate will check its legal opinion. And I will take the processing charges. No processing charges, no legal charges, no this one. And the account was not opened at the back office. Account was opened at the branch. In 5 minutes, I could write him all the things, kindly explain. It's a Bangalore-based branch. That guy I am sitting in Bombay, he knows who is IAS audit and he talked to me in Telugu. भाई साहब वैसा है तो कैसे चलेगा यार, मैनेजर से हमको कुछ करना पड़ता है. I told I am a manager for several years. I never did ghost SP account and ghost housing loan. He is a very hero in that place. This fellow created artificial balance sheet Then he worked in the earlier branch. That branch is the South or All India topper in savings bank campaign. Then my officer told that earlier one branch I worked with him, sir, we are number one in the world. You are number one in the world. That's why they will say fraud. If the industry growth is 10%, you are growing at 30%, you suspect. Then I have gone to the branch. Means through offsite surveillance only, all value-date transactions. Like Ahmedabad, High Court of Ahmedabad, or District Court, Sessions Court, what are premiums and all, accident premium they will give to bank. The court will give a term deposit. Court will have only with the State Bank of India. They will not have savings bank account anywhere. Only one bank, one court, only one bank. Mostly State Bank of India. In Chennai High Court is with Indian Bank. Okay, local public sector bank. And Bank of Baroda is also there. Nowhere. This guy, when the Chief Justice has given a 10 crore deposit, he opened a ghost SP account in the savings bank in the name of the Chief Justice and booked this 10 crores in the savings bank account. Kept in 14 days in savings bank account. Then opened housing loan. Opened term deposit and value date 14 days. He achieved in savings bank campaign and he has gone to Goa and he has gone to Dubai. He is the best employee of the bank, got a promotion. And system now in giving up interest on daily process. System for a flaw in the manage, this one, it has given term 14 days interest to the term deposit and 14 days interest to the savings bank interest. And this 14 days, he created to some other account and some other accounts. Misappropriation of bank's P&L. How much Pandora box? So statute writers, keep this case studies with you. Real case. Staff OD account. Staff OD account. He is the manager credit, manager in charge, value dating. I am telling you, it's a 1 decade old story. अभी value dating 14 दिन हो गया. 14 दिन में वो मैनेजर वैसा किया तो मैडम पापिया सेन गुप्ता बैंक इन एमआई बैंक 0 वैल्यू डेटिंग ही बंद करवा दिया वो फीचर. इधर क्या 5 साल का वैल्यू डेट कर दिया, पूरा उसका इंटरेस्ट का पूरा 5 साल का इंटरेस्ट गायब हो गया. सो मुझे क्या है, ब्याज मिल गया तो गांची है, गिड़गू गांची है, सूरत में 7 साल है. ऑल माय फ्रेंड्स आर गांची. सो गिड़गू को ब्याज मिल गया तो गिड़गू वाज खुश. माय डीजीएम इंटरनल ऑडिट इज ए नॉन टेकी. हम एक सुबह मेल भेजा, स्टाफ अकाउंट है 5 साल क्रेडिट हो गया इंटरेस्ट. दोपहर को मेल आ गया वापस, डीजीएम एचआर इंटरनल ऑडिट को सीसी रखा है मैं. शाम को मेल आ गया वही ब्रांच से, सर वी रिकवर्ड द अकाउंट. डीजीएम पीडी पोटने से द नेम आई एम शेयरिंग मराठी. ही इज नॉट नोइंग एनी टेक्नोलॉजी. तुलसी पाग इज माय सीनियर, माय चीफ मैनेजर एट दैट पॉइंट इन टाइम, माय हेड ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम ऑडिट. तुलसी पाग, ये देखो यार स्टाफ का अकाउंट बोल रहे हैं. गिड़गू बोला सुबह, ये बोलते शाम को पैसा रिकवर हो गया. गिड़गू को बोला, यार गिड़गू तुम मुझे एक मेल भेजता था, आपको ब्रांच से रिकवरी कितना दिन से होता है? मैं बोला इट विल टेक 2 weeks 3 weeks. देन माय डीजीएम इंटरनल ऑडिट दो इज नॉट टेकी सावी है, स्टाफ अकाउंट बोल रहे यार, वो बोल रहे ये मेल भेजा तो यार की फीस रेटी ये इंटरेस्ट रिकवर हो गया. तब उसका अंदर देखो बोले तो ही हिमसेल्फ क्रेडिट इन चार्ज हिमसेल्फ हैज डन दिस फ्लॉ एंड गेट दिस validating parameter change it through some other branch. Lot of system related flaws were also detected at that point in time, and we could recover the monies and we could take the action against that employee. Office account debits and all. you go through this night system नहीं काम करता है तो वो टाइम में प्रॉक्सी अकाउंट को डेबिट करके कस्टमर को चले गया. We could get lot of without any bank. रात को CSIS सिस सर्वर का साथ करता है. ये लोगों को मालूम है टेक्नोलॉजी वाला को डे एंड होता था, वो मेन सर्वर एक्सेस नहीं होता है, कुछ उसका शैडो सर्वर होता है. वो टाइम में मेरा एक ई चैनल भी काम करता है तो वो सर्वर को समझ में नहीं आया. वो मेरा कस्टमर 50,000 का मेरा IMPS ट्रांजैक्शन करो बोले तो उसका अकाउंट में नहीं है, तो मेरा इंटरनल अकाउंट को डेबिट करके सिस्टम ने 50,000 भेज दिया. बहुत बड़ा फ्ला है वो सिस्टम वाला. ये जो मैं बहुत बात किया गिड़गू, ये है वो है, ये कोर बैंकिंग का फ्ला है. मैं बोला यार कोर बैंकिंग का फ्ला है तो मैं क्या करता हूँ, कोर बैंकिंग का मैं नहीं कर सकता हूँ, उसको बंद नहीं कर सकता हूँ, तुम्हारा IMPS बंद कर दो, वो आधा घंटा करके बोला. बाद में वो फ्ला रेक्टिफाई किया. बी केयरफुल, डे एंड में प्रॉब्लम्स होता है. की takeaways, either SAP or core banking Pinnacle, they are complex environments, and be vigilant. Strong internal controls will help us. Oversight on day end process and all, mistakes recurringly happen and all, even SAP also. Interest and service charges, rerun process, still application of some any batch failures or something. Human, its computer will do mistakes, whether it was properly it was handled or not properly. You see, sir, I am an IT CISA qualified. And all our technology people will not disclose much. Technology people work in silos. They presume that they are subject matter experts. So be patient. You should be auditors, internal auditors, information system auditors should be prepared. They are subject matter experts. They want to take you on your wrong foot and all. They will escalate to the matter to the top person, MD, CEO, CTO of the bank. Challenged me, Gidugu, come. I am taking you to P.H. Jayakumar. P.H. Jayakumar, who? MD, CEO of the bank. Gidugu, I will make you sack from the bank. He came from ICICI Bank, CTO, no more with the bank. CTO with the two. I disclosed the information system internal control failure to the general manager operations services, who is the application owner. He telling Gidugu is disclosing to regulator or something, a lot of things. Okay, auditors, be brave and all. These kind of pressures will come from top management and all. Be careful. Be careful. He told, I will tell to the CTO, not CTO, to the chairman of the bank, MD, CEO of the bank. But the application controls for whatever is there, whatever be the discussion at the top level, board level and all, they were mitigated and all. Regulators have taken a lot of look into it, and the control should be there and all. And you are knowing the things that are coming out because of small failures also. Regulator is penalizing the banks too much amount. Whatever the incidents happened recently with Bank of Baroda, they are small incidents. Only a building, BC has done a 7 lakh, it's a 10 trillion bank, 7 lakh rupee fraud and all, nothing. That fraud were also disclosed by the internal auditors and all. Okay. So, but I am telling you, manual handling, random manual verifications, even interest applications you do randomly. Daily scan of balance sheet, P&L, AML transactions, internal audit, concurrent audit, start audit. All these controls should prevail. Audit should work effectively and efficiently. So Ron Weber is our guru. So thanks to Mr. Nitin Pathak, thanks to Ron Weber. And I conclude my section with the Ron Weber. Ron Weber book, anybody, unmute, anybody says what is his information, Ron Weber book? Ron Weber book. Ron Weber, that book even still holds good. Ron Weber said in his first page, to be a good auditor, you should be better at business than the business person himself. I could quickly identify all the things because I am a branch head, I am a credit head. I know ins and outs of account openings and ins and outs of accounting things. And I humbly follow the guidelines of Ron Weber, whether how many people studied the Ron Weber book. Unless you know the entire process thoroughly, you can't be a good IS auditor. So you should know the accounting principle thoroughly and you know the business things process thoroughly, but still, though we are information technology control people, we work for the mission and vision and mission of the organization. We work for the mission statement of the organization and all. We should know the entire process effectively, know process from end to end. Then only we can be a good auditors. Thanks to Ahmedabad, ISACA Ahmedabad, Nitin Pathak, and Dr. Kushru, our president and ISACA governing body. You can co-opt me as a member. Pathak Sahibni.
Yes, sir. Gudgu Saab, thank you very much. Once again, a very lucid and perfect talk. It comes none other than your personal experience. It's a very tough subject on its own. It's very difficult to speak for 2 hours. People would, the way people are thinking, the way you spoke is wonderful. And with this, I hand over, I like to thanks Mr. Gudgo for having a wonderful session on preventive, detective, and corrective control on banking sector, the frauds in the chore, thief, and police game is going to be a very long battle. It is always a battle. It's going to remain a battle. And with the advent of so many information and sharing done by Mr. Gudgo, you can use it in the real sense. Ron Weber book, which I read 20 years back, is a Bible on its own subject, which is very difficult to understand. It's like Ramayana when people listen to Ramayana, but first time it is to be understood, it's very difficult. With this, I conclude the session of today. Those who want to have a CPE hours, just call on us, just email us, WhatsApp us. My WhatsApp number is already there, 9825804094. You can just WhatsApp me, 9825804094, and you fill up the form and your membership number is there. We will share this thing. This again coming Friday, there is a talk on time management by Mr. Karnal Gautam, who is 77 years old, and he has written a book on this. His 4 books are already published. He is a PhD in our military discipline. You can see him in his personal life. So he is going to talk on time management sequel. Then there is going to be a talk by Samir Pandya on 20th of January. So this ISACA chapter is going to have a very good commanding lesson in the years to come. And with one more talk about Messenger from God by Pradeep Mukherjee, the book which is a guru for me, is a mentor for me, and because of him today I'm here. The way I think, the whole thinking process can change by reading the books and some of the clips which are available. And with this, I conclude today's session. See you soon. Once again, Satya sir, thank you very much and salute
Any
to you.
major or something, any question, Ratendra Kumar, or any one question or any, you can mail also.
Yes, sir. With this, I'm
Generally,
concluding the session. This presentation would be available on blog also and on YouTube also, LinkedIn also. The same is published in LinkedIn, FB, YouTube, everywhere. With this, I'm again concluding. See you soon. CP Awards, you can be in touch with me.